And one person I want to speak about, and you've done a lot of work with, and in my opinion, she's one of the most underappreciated, like not just females, but persons in general in WWE history. Sensational Sherri, and like
Yeah.
I mentioned off camera, my start the original concept of the show was reviewing classic WWE pay-per-views, and going back, growing up as a child, hated Sherri, but now watching it, I
Right.
appreciate how great she was, like in her role. What was she like to work with, and what was she like behind the scenes?
If we when we did Spotlight together, wrestling
That's right.
Spotlight together, that was an insane time. Sherri was crazy in a fun way,
Yeah.
but she beat the living hell out of me every show. And she enjoyed it. Everybody, Vince loved it, but man, she would just, you know how they say in the business, stiff.
Yeah.
She would just beat the hell out of me. And if you watch back at some of those shows, she just was brutal. I remember one show where she had me tied up in a chair, and one of the bits was where I think at the end of the show there was like a sign on the bottom of my feet, and it was something like help, or I don't remember. And the idea was she was supposed to turn me over in this chair. Well, she was incredibly strong. I mean, she was in great shape. She like lifted that chair up, and I like smacked my head. I didn't even know where I was, and that was normal. I mean, that was just a normal shoot with her. I guess she just used to love to push my buttons to try and see how I'd react, and loved to pull ribs on me. And there's another show where she was supposed to get really mad at me for something I say, and then she's was gonna roust me or something and go off the set, and then she was supposed to start throwing these boxes at me, right?
Right.
Well, the boxes are empty, but she throws the boxes and I'm kind of dodging them. Then she's like throwing trash can. I mean, objects that could hurt me badly. And I am just dodging these things like to get out of the way. But to her, it was just fun. A tragic story. I mean, with Sherri. I mean, uh, she had a very troubled life, and it's really sad how it ended.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that all of the women in wrestling and the fortunes that they have been able to obtain from the business, and how that they have become so respected in the
Yeah.
business, they owe a lot of that to Sensational Sherri. And there's
They
been
do.
others along the way. I never worked with China, but if you are aware of what the business was like back then, and it's changed somewhat, but I still think it's a very male dominated industry. But
Yeah.
back then, there was, I mean, if you're a woman in the business, man, you had to have a real thick skin and have to put up with a lot.
Yeah.
And you had to put up with it if you wanted to keep working, because a lot of these promoters were just as bad as the boys. And if you wanted to keep working, and she gave it back as two times
Yeah.
if somebody messed with her. And the other thing about her is the fact that she crossed over into mainstream. She was as big a superstar as many of the others, that worked with her, and was involved in very high card matches, working her way up, getting herself involved in she was a true superstar.
Yeah.
And few women had been able to do that. I mean, Elizabeth in her way, but Elizabeth wasn't a wrestler.
True.
And I know that when she would go in there she was going to do a spot with somebody, and let's say the guy was supposed to give her a clothesline or something. If that guy didn't lay her out, like give it the way he would do with a man, she would take his head off. She would go after. I'm not kidding. And they were scared to death of her because she could deliver as much as they gave out, and they knew they had to. Not the extra, but whatever we're doing, we're working in there. You better give it the same to me, because it would make her look bad. It would make her look weak.
Yeah.
And so there's a great debt, I think, owed to her. I don't. She's been recognized, but nowhere near the way I believe she should be, for
I
what
agree.
she did to the industry and women
Yeah.
in the industry. Really,
agree.
she's something else. Yeah.
She is. Like I said, going back and watching these shows, and I review these shows with like a couple of my fellow podcasters, and the work she puts in, and like the bumps you mentioned she would take, like from likes of Hogan, and that is, she was so great. But from another great person to a couple of great. Hey, it's James here. Hope you enjoyed that interview clip. I'm guessing you did because you are hearing my voice. So if you want to check out the full interview, click on the box on the left hand side. If you want to subscribe to the channel, which will help me a lot, click on the box in the middle. And if you want to watch me other interview clips from interviews I've done previous, then click on the box on the right hand side. So, thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one.